Hello, Josie Wells here, and welcome back to this Field of Glory Empires campaign, where we are playing as the South Saxons, and we are trying to form the Kingdom of England. We are currently in a war with Lindesege and East Anglia. In the previous video, we had allied with Mercia, who were in a war with these two. So once we'd allied with them, we got brought into the war. East Anglia moved into Mataris and destroyed the Mercian faction, although they took some quite heavy damage in doing so. Lindesege moved into our province of Consolidation that we had fairly recently taken from the Karen faction, and we have now moved our army from Regnium up through Sabrina and into Consolidation to engage the Lindesege army. Which is actually slightly more powerful than us, because last turn they weren't, but this turn they have managed obviously to recover some of that combat power, and they outnumber us by 10 combat power and 5 units. If we were to resolve it in Field of Glory Empires, but we're actually going to resolve this in Field of Glory 2, because this entire campaign really is to show off a bit more about Field of Glory 2, and we'll get straight into the battle. See you on the battle map. Okay, here we are on the battle map. So here's our main force here again, warband, light units in front, 4 archers, 2 light javelin, and 6 light cav. Left flank is anchored on this impassable terrain, large body of water. Call this a large lake rather than a sea, because we're actually in the middle of England, and this is our enemy. Again, fairly similar setup, war bands, some light infantry, some light cavalry. Looks fairly even really on paper. I think we've got about 10 points more than them, and just looking at their quality there, somewhat disheartened, average. Whereas our troops seem to be, highly superior, elite, superior, elite, superior. So toe to toe, we should batter them. They've probably got slightly more than us in terms of numbers, but if we can push through them and get those to rout, then their reserves may not be able to recover the situation. So I think we'll try and plough forward, maybe see if we can get up onto this hill here. Not sure what we're going to do about this rough terrain at the moment. We'll see if we can take advantage of this sort of terrain, which is kind of like midway between us and them. We'll see if they push forward, but they may just sort of decide to sit there. We'll get our lights going forward and engaging them, and then we'll take it from there. Turn 4. So we've pushed forward onto these hills. We've avoided this rough ground here. I think I'll just keep this unit back here for now. The rough ground tends to kind of split the AI. They don't like putting heavy units on it, so you may get some come this way and some go this way. We'll see what happens. So, but for now we're just kind of engaging in the skirmisher fight, which I think we should win this, certainly on this flank anyway. Over on the far right, we've pushed our light cav really far right, trying to keep away from their light infantry, and maybe start whittling away at their cavalry and perhaps getting around the flanks there. But they could just charge us and charge us off the map. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, right. We'll start throwing some pointy things at people and come back when something more interesting happens. turn 8, and the main body of the enemy army hasn't come forward, so we've just been continuing with the skirmisher fight, which we are winning. Our archers here have routed the 2 enemy light cav on this left flank. In the centre here we have already routed 1 light unit. We've fragmented this archer unit, and we're now sort of moving down the line to work on the lights that have come up on this side. So these lights, there's nothing really there to stop them. They just come straight up, and they've been throwing javelins and that at this unit of heavy foot. But you know, they're superior. They've lost quite a significant number of men actually. So that's what's that, about 130. Yeah, not too great. Don't want to be just letting them do this without any kind of action from my lights. But now that we've sort of dealt with the threat here, we can now do something about this and try and limit the amount of casualties that this unit's now taking. There's a bit of a mixed bag over here. We've had a fragmented unit. We've routed one of their horse. We've fragmented this other light infantry unit. Disrupted this light horse. We could still potentially lose over here, but you know, as long as we're over here doing our thing, keeping these light units distracted from ganging up even more on the right flank of my main infantry line. I suspect now that we're starting to sort of put some fire on their main line directly, that might tempt them to move forward. If not, I might edge a little bit closer. I think, you know, because one-on-one, I think we can still beat them. Move a little bit forward onto this sort of flat area, and that might tempt them forward. We'll see what happens. Turn 10, and the enemy warband has advanced towards us. So we're going to wait till they get a little bit closer. I think we'll probably just initiate some downhill charges onto them, because again, just feeling a bit confident because of the quality of our troops. They do have a couple of highly superior units. This one's highly superior anyway, but the rest seem like, you know, they're sort of average or below average. They're highly superior, they're average, somewhat disheartened. So I think that, you know, we should win a fight against them. So we'll let them come in a little bit. We'll charge down the hill. We're not really concerned about keeping the line here, and we'll just pile into them. Skirmishers have done their job to a decent extent. Got rid of some of their lights, causing a few casualties, and this is probably going to go the enemy's way. But you know, again, by the time this is all resolved, we should be well into it over on this side. All right, so probably see some fighting in the next couple of turns. Turn 12, and the 2 main lines have made contact, and with this initial contact we've come off extremely well. We've done we've received a few charges ourselves, but we've also initiated a few, and because we're charging downhill and we've generally got better quality troops, you know, even our units that don't have a general in are sort of, you know, beating up their units that do. So yeah, pretty good. They've got a fragmentation here, a couple of disruptions here on these general units. They may well rally because they always seem to if they've got a general in. Another fragmentation here. So the initial contact with the main line, very positive, quite encouraging. We are in total 8 points ahead, mainly down to the whole skirmisher confrontation. So we'll play a few more turns and see if we can, clear out some of these enemy units from the foot of the hill. Turn 13, and if we look at the score, it's pretty one-sided at the moment. We're very nearly there to achieving our victory. So the enemy force has just completely melted away as we're charging into it. They just can't withstand those initial contacts. They're disrupting, fragmenting, running away, and it's happening across the entire line. There's not like one bit of this line where I'm concerned about. We've just got them absolutely everywhere. The skirmish going on over here is pretty inconsequential. You know, we're one turn away from victory, I believe. So yeah, let's play that out and be back at the end of the battle. Yep, so that's the end of the battle, and it's a victory, 41 to 1%. Yeah, pretty straightforward, really. Just had better quality troops and just charged them in, and they melted away really quite quickly. So not really much to discuss. Wasn't really a lot of tactics here. Just try to make good use of the terrain to help with those charges. Let's see what things look like on the campaign map. Pretty one-sided, really. Just completely, massacred quite a lot of their units, damaged a lot of their other units. We've not taken very much damage at all. So let's see how the turn plays out. Turn 27, following on from that victory, we're still in really good condition. So what we're going to do next turn, we're just going to plough on through into Mataris, take on this East Anglian army that's still recovering from the fight it had in the last video with our allies. So we're going to plough on into there, and what I think we might do is we might just go in there, and then if we can, we can't get both in one turn, so we'll just move into Mataris, which is a marshland. Hopefully we can catch them before they recover much more power, outnumber them and fight them. Trying to just build up some more forces now that we've got, well, I've just spent the money on these units here, so we're getting another couple of heavy infantry and some light infantry here to try and just maintain some kind of a reasonable deterrent in Regnim. Alright, let's see what happens on the next turn. Okay, so we've got a battle here in Mataris. They have obviously recovered somewhat because their combat power is now 72. Ours is 78. They do have 27 units to our 14, so I imagine they've got some low quality troops, but obviously more of them, and that's probably what makes this this number almost as high as ours. So we'll fight this one out in Field of Glory 2 as well, since it's pretty even, and see you on the battle map. Okay, here we are, and it's another marshy terrain, large areas of marshland, various places on the map which hamper movement, particularly for heavy foot. Well, hampers movement for everyone passing through it, but heavy foot are severely disordered in marshland. And let's see what we're up against. So quite a large number of enemy lights, so they do outnumber us on the light infantry side, but their main body is pretty weak actually. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 heavy warband, and then they've got 4 of these militia. It's possible they might have some units hidden around, but I don't think it's likely. I don't think the AI would hide units all the way back here. So I think in the hand-to-hand fight, we're going to slaughter them. But we are going to pay a heavy price in the skirmish, and we're going to lose the range war. But luckily, these are big units, superior, elite, highly superior. Yeah, so my heavy warband I think is going to be all right, even though we're going to have lots of pointy things thrown at us. I don't think it's going to cause us too many problems. So I think the plan is really close as quickly as they can and engage the heavy foots to try and minimise the opportunities that their lights have to unleash their missiles at us. Alright, we'll get into it and we'll come back when something happens. Turn 4, and we've pushed our main body forward. We've come either side of the marsh here, and we'll join this line up here as we've come round. I didn't want to move any units through the marsh because it just takes far too long to move through that terrain. So what we want to do is close this down as quickly as possible. These units haven't moved yet. They may come off the hill, but if not, we'll just go and attack them on the hill. We've got better troops and more of us, so we should get through them no problem. Not really sure what to do on this side with this rough ground. We want to try and avoid that if possible, because our heavy foot will be moderately disordered here, so we may just come slightly to the left of that, or come round on this side. Over on this side, yeah, it's just a bit of an even matchup at the moment, so we'll see how that pans up. Some of their light cav have been throwing javelins at some of our heavy foot, but nothing really to worry about here. We've got good quality troops. This is the main thing to worry about, I think, as we come in. We don't want to be taking too long. On the left side here, again, not doing too bad at the moment, but it's a little bit early to tell if we're going to win this flank. I've moved some of these Lightfoot that were over here in the marsh over to the left, because there's no point in them sending forward. We're not going to have a throwing match against these units here, so I brought them over to the left to try and help out on this flank, and we're just going to get our main body in. Turn 6, and the lines have met. They did move forward a bit, and we have engaged them, and doing really well off the bat. We've got 2 heavy units fragmented there, 2 light units fragmented. We've got these 2 routing, this light unit fragmented as well. Over here on the right, we've got this light horse fragmented. So yeah, just all across the line really, we're doing exceptionally well. Nothing really to worry about. Going to break that unit next turn. Yeah, I mean the troop quality just isn't up to it really. I mean, even like this general unit here, we're facing off against a unit that's somewhat disheartened. Yeah, we should chew through these no problem and hopefully get a victory. Turn 7, and yeah, I think we've pretty much got this in the bag. We are at 33 points and 0 routed on our side. Yeah, I mean, nothing to say really. We've just charged into them, and they've not been able to stand up under the onslaught. Yeah, so it's a victory to us. It's 45 to 3%. Yeah, so this was the East Anglian army that in the last video defeated our Mercian allies, where we were playing as the Mercians. But we obviously inflicted such a damaging blow to them. So even though they got that victory earlier and took Mataris, they were severely weakened and just were not able to recover by the time our main army was able to bring down its full force on them. So very easy victory really. Yeah, just charged right through them. Let's see how that translates on the campaign map. Yeah, okay, pretty one-sided really. We've still pretty much intact, and we've completely decimated them. Turn 28, and it's the summer of 490, and we have conquered Mataris. It is a majority Germanic region, although it is currently occupied and under pacification. But once these two clear, we should get a region that's probably slightly more loyal than some of the other regions. We can see that Coritania's at 50% Germanic ethnicity. Regnium is at 56% Germanic. Sabrina's at 50%, and Cornwall is at 100% Celtic, which makes sense, really. So we've severely weakened East Anglia and Lindesege now, and we want to kind of finish off these wars before they get a chance to rebuild and come back. But the dilemma is I really want to get this army back down here in Regnium because we're constantly getting raided by Cantuair, and it's really hampering our development. I mean, it's just massively debuffing practically everything in this region. And it's the same with our other regions as well. We're just getting raided all the time, and it's having a massive impact in delaying our development. So we really need to do something about these constant raids. So what we can do now is we can form the province. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so that will be formed next turn. We want to, I think, probably move into East Anglia because they don't actually have fortifications. So there will be no need to siege them if there's nowhere for them to retreat to. So we should go and finish that off before they sort of regather their strength and perhaps threaten us again. So whilst we're still in good condition, let's just plough on and do that. Okay, so we have a battle. They have combat power of 52 to our 79. So we are just going to resolve this in Field of Glory Empires. So yeah, victory, taking out a few of their units. Ours are still intact. So yeah, taking another province or region. And next turn looks like Lindesege are offering us peace, which I think I may well take because I want to get back down into Regnium and stop these raids from coming in. And so if I accept peace now with Lindesege, it kind of frees up my army up here in sort of East Anglia to sort of come back down and move into Regnium to stop these raids from these two Germanic factions, and then perhaps start working on improving relations with them. So yeah, I'm going to gladly take this. Turn 41, year 496, and it's winter. And what I've done is just consolidated the position here in the south of England. So Icenia was our latest conquest, and we've just been working on improving relations with Cantuair and East Sax. And we've got to a point where we've got their relations up to 30 and 31 respectively. Which has helped stop the raids. And just last turn, East Sax has offered us an alliance, which we have accepted. So that's great because it now means that we can develop Regnium without fear of these blooming raids coming in. Practically every 5 turns, and here also in Icenia, we're not getting raided. So the focus now is on developing these regions, well, this entire southern province, really. Turn 48, year 500, and let's just sort of pull back and have a look what else is going on in the world. So it looks like the Franks have sort of expanded their territory quite significantly. and we're not, like I say, we're not really paying too much attention to what's going on the continent itself. But it's just easy. So it's just interesting to see who's doing well and who's not. We've still got the Eastern Roman Empire over here, Persia, and let's have a look at the British Isles. So up here in Scotland, we've got the Fotler faction has taken 3 of the required regions to form the province. Let's see if I can get to the province map. There we go. So yeah, that would be the province of Caledonia. Over in Ireland, we've got Munster becoming the sort of the dominant faction over here. In England and Wales, it's mostly these single region factions, apart from Dira, who's got both Cumbria and Aelium. So nothing too threatening really for us in the British Isles that we'd really need to be worrying about. What we're going to look at doing now is continuing our campaign northward. We've done as much as we can now in terms of developing our region. All the building slots developing our province. All the building slots in all the regions are currently full, and it's going to take at least 30 odd turns for there to be any new population anywhere. Some of these counties have just taken off food growth completely just to get the gold and culture to stop us from running out of money or sliding into decadence. So what we're going to look at doing, I think, is probably taking on the faction of Powys. They've got a fairly battered army at 48 combat power, and they've also got this garrison of 21, so that's going to be a 69 power unit, but they'll probably recover some this turn as well, so be a bit more powerful than they are now. But I don't think I want to attack Lindesege at the moment. And see, I'm not 100% sure if this faction here, the Gwent army, is actually part of Wales or not. I mean, in the game, it's just Britannia Inferior and Britannia Superior. But yeah, this must be part of Wales, I think. I don't remember Wales being this shape in all the kind of maps of the UK. Seems a little bit odd, but I might be wrong. My geography could be way off. These 3 are definitely Wales, and yeah, to get to Wales you have to go over the Severn Bridge at Bristol if you're going down the M4 like I do. So yeah, this must be Wales, but it just looks like an odd shape for the country of Wales. But I may be wrong. So we'll consider this Wales then, the Gwent faction, and we don't really want to move into Wales, so we'll try and appease this faction a bit to try and get their opinion of us up a bit, and so to stop them raiding. But we'll start pushing north into the northern parts of England. Turn 49, so we have declared war on Paris, and we have amalgamated our armies up here into one huge army with 129 combat power, but we don't yet have a leader. So let's just have a look who's in the leader pool. Let's get Oswy. And Paris don't have any allies, so they're completely isolated. So this should be a relatively straightforward battle. So it's going to be 52 to 21. Let's get into it. So we moved into Diva on turn 50, and the Paris forces didn't fight. They decided to move behind their walls, so we've now got a siege going on. Our siege score is -5, so it's going to last a long time. But we're not in a rush. We can just sit here and we're making money, we're generating manpower, we're making metal, so no one else at the moment is going to attack us. I don't think. The peace treaty with Lindesege has in fact ended, so they may see an opportunity there. But they won't be just attacking us if they decide to. They'll also be attacking our ally, East Sax. So we'll just sit here and wait for these units to deplete a bit more, maybe breach the walls, and then we'll move into a Field of Glory Empire's assault. At turn 51, and we've breached one of the walls, so I've ordered an assault. It's combat power 1, 2, 3 against combat power 40, so we're just going to play this out in Empires. Interestingly, this Lindesege army has moved across from Lindesege into Paris. I mean, they're a neutral army, so we're not at war with them, but I don't really know what it is they are doing, and I can't check at the moment to see whether or not they've also declared war on Paris as well. So we'll resolve this battle and then see if we can find out what's happened. Okay, so we've won the battle and only had one unit slightly damaged. And yeah, here we are, turn 52. We've taken this region and defeated the Paris faction. Just have a look what's going on here with Lindesege. So I wonder if they'd actually sort of declared war independently on Paris, and that's why they came in as well. But they've gone back home now. I've got quite a big army here actually. Pretty powerful. Lots of heavy infantry. So certainly one to watch here. So it's turn 57, year 504, and what we've been doing is working on improving opinions here again. And what we've managed to do is get an alliance with Canterware. So we've got alliances with both these two regions now, and so what I might do in time is try and improve these opinions even further, 44 and 38, and then see if we can either get them as client states, and then I'm not sure if we can annex in this game. I can't quite remember, but basically we want to try and absorb them into our kingdom. I've also managed to improve relations with Gwent, and we now have a cooperation treaty with them. So what that means is that Sabrina should stop being raided. Excuse me. So far, yeah, it's not been raided for a few turns now, which means the only lands we've got bordering hostile nations are these three regions here. So these are the three that are likely to get raided, and that means that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 now, which can just happily develop. So I think it's probably time to start looking at conquering Lindesege. They've got a reasonably powerful army here, lots of heavy infantry, and they've obviously got this garrison power of 25. So that's quite a substantial force. Our force is 130, so we should be able to take them. What I might do first is just spend a couple of turns building up a few more units, adding to this main army here, and then getting ready to attack them. But we'll do that in the next video. All that remains to say is, if you like what you've seen, please leave a like, feel free to comment, subscribe. I'm Josie Wales, War is Hell. Thanks for watching.